What's going on, everyone? What's going on? Another week. Another week, internet. Another week.
Another week.
What a
Another week too. I can't.
We have here. Oh
What
my
a
God! This is
fabulous
going to be
episode.
fabulous.
Another episode. You know, it's crazy. We even got treated to an episode on a holiday. I'm pretty sure last year, Star Wars postponed it or pushed an episode. So, I was kind of happy to get an episode on holiday. Yeah, they did. They skipped a week. Yeah.
I got to open two presents. I got another episode of Skeleton Crew, and I got Neil a day early. Neil.
Look at Neil. Disney is on the ball. Man,
this guy got the toy
crazy. It's only 5 episodes in. He already got the Neil toy. Disney.
You know what? And I'm not doing that anymore. I told him I'm not collecting. I'm not. But there's specific things. Like if I see something that pulls a string, I'm like, okay, I gotta get that. Like if I see an SM33 with the rat in the eyeball, I'm buying it. Has to have a rat that lives in his eyeball.
I got one. That
can be an infestation issue in your house, man. I'd be careful on that.
You're going down fast. I got traps everywhere.
You know, if there's anything Disney hasn't messed up, it's the toy. That's the one thing about Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
operate competently is the.
Did they? You know, I mean, I know they bought the rights to all the toys, but they don't have ownership in Hasbro, do they? Or was that part of the deal? I don't know.
I feel like they. I don't. They don't own them, but I feel like they're very good friends.
Exactly. I think that's what I'm saying. I think there's a little bit. You know, I'll have to do some research on that outside of work to see. Yeah, it's a little close, a little too close. Yeah, so I'll have to do some research.
I think they go out a couple times a week and all that.
A couple times a week. Yeah, Disney and Lucasfilm used to go out all the time and everything until they finally got married. Right. You know,
it's basically exactly what you're describing. No, but they're real.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because their CEO Chris Cox or whatever has ties to Disney investments. So yeah,
it makes sense. Makes sense. You know, to protect quid pro quo.
Clarice.
That's how business is done in the other world.
Yeah. But no, guys, glad to be back. I hope everybody had a great holiday. I know we were sharing some stuff, on the chat. Got some Star Wars gifts here and there. So yeah, it was a great week, man. And like I said, I was excited to spend some time with family, but also excited to be able to watch an episode and be able to discuss it this week. I was really, because Tuesday came around and I didn't message you guys, but I was like, look, and I was like, damn, man, I'm not gonna have anything to watch this week. And then I looked and I was like, oh shit, it really is coming on tonight. Like, so that was like kind of crazy that it literally dropped on Christmas, and then we were able to watch.
5 minutes too.
Yeah. So they, and then before we even dive into this, and I'll let you do the housekeeping stuff. I'll just say real quick, I can't believe they're keeping these episode times up. I was really thinking like I was looking for a 15-minute or some bullshit coming. So we know we're tying our fingers together still, but we haven't been thrown that episode. So I know we want to dive into this. So let's get some housekeeping down and let DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com, people, your favorite website. You get all your favorite social media platforms at X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure that you are following us at Nerdcyclopedia. And if you're listening to us on podcasts, we are on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Odyssey, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Guess what? We are there. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification button so anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. If you're watching us on Facebook, thank you as well. Make sure you following us and also sharing us at the Nerdcyclopedia page on Facebook. Leave us some email too. Nerdcyclopedia feedback at gmail.com. It's still free, in the depths of 2024. Don't know what it's going to be in 2025, but it's still free right now. So make sure that you take advantage of that.
Get in now before the tariffs hit. You just got to get it
before those tariffs hit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, please. I'm not. Get them before they get emails before the terrorists hit people.
Oh, boy.
Oh man.
We'll find some way to keep it free in 2025. Let's
For sure.
we'll work on it.
Yes,
All right.
find some way to circumvent the throw the ball in there. Find that loophole.
Yeah.
Right. No, guys, but yeah, I mean, as we were kind of talking offline before we came online, I mean, it's crazy. There's so much to discuss with the show, and it's not necessarily even like the singular episode, but it's kind of like how this is built up to this, like almost to like the point to where I'm at. Like, I kind of don't even necessarily need finality in this season or series. I'm just kind of cool on a story, basically building another part of, now we know a hidden part of the galaxy, so we know that there are hidden pockets, but now we're getting an understanding of what really Atatin is, which is we thought, and I think I said it, yeah, it was a myth. It's old currency that essentially they're able to print. They have a money machine, right? So there's that. But I mean, like the way how these episodes are flowing in the story, like with it being a children's story, does it have to have an ending, right? A lot of children's stories don't. So I'm happy with the way it's going. I don't necessarily need it to end and be like, oh, this is it, or a cliffhanger. I just let it roll off, right? Just kind of like, most of these, late 80s, early 90s. Because we've got spoiled, right, with this superhero, this kind of new phenomenon, right? That if you think about it, almost everything outside of the the movies at the time of the Avengers, there's a definite beginning and there's a definite end. Now there's a cliffhanger, there may be a tie, but we've gotten so spoiled to just having a beginning and an end. I mean, that like some of these stories just organically go and they just end, right? Like excuse me. Who does Bad Bro? Oh, J.J. Abrams does a great job of like just having his movies like end at the wrong time, right? Because like we're used to having a finale an end that like they just end like Cloverfield, right? The shit just ended, and you'd be like, oh my god, like they're in the middle of a battle scene, and it just stops. Like, and I kind of like that, that ending to where you just don't know, like, and it kind of leaves you wanting more. So that's kind of my feeling of the show. I don't necessarily have an exact feeling for this episode because I just think they're all great and they're all running each other, and it's just, to me, I would love to see this like ran together, but the way this is going, there's just so much in it that I love. So that's kind of like my overview of everything. I'm just like bought in, and I don't care how it ends at this point.
So when I'm looking at this show, it's sort of like present itself. It feels like a movie, each episode. I've been saying it for like the past few episodes, but nevertheless, it still is a TV show. So when you're talking about ending in the Disney Plus ecosystem with Marvel and Star Wars, we sort of like got beginning, middle, and ending stuff, and
right?
And not a like second and third season, while all the other like TV shows and outside like the ecosystem like and on network TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime, it was almost a guarantee of another season. So when they're doing shows or doing genre stuff, you're not expecting, this is going to be a limited series. It didn't establish itself as a limited series. I'm fully expecting it to be another season because for 2 more episodes, this to be left, I don't think it's going to be. I know it's not. I'll be shocked if they try to finish it in 2 more episodes. It just seems like it would just be a total rush of we're trying to lock up something and complete a story. Like I said, like you said, I'm cool with them, just flowing on and everything. But I'm fully invested into this being a multiple season type show. It's feeling like they're going in the direction. We got to do more TV shows. We gotta make the properties that we do not just be so-called 6-hour movies or 7-hour movies. We got to actually make a TV show out of this. And this is what I'm feeling this will be. Now, how long that will last, I don't know. Because you don't want to do the Stranger Things thing and have these kids growing up and it be 2 or 3 years between seasons stuff. But they could in theory, for me, do 1 more season of this to wrap up all the little mysteries that they set up for this thing. This particular episode here was just great. You know, you got the treasure thing that they found at the end of it felt like an Indiana Jones type of, you know, thing. They found like all the treasure and stuff, and had to deal with like all the traps and everything, and having to guard against that, or having to make sure that they don't do all that. And I was saying in the chat, you know, that's exactly how I would be if I first, you know, handled a lightsaber. You know, just mishandle it, you know, and drop it and burn myself and everything. I mean, it's a really good way to humanize it, or just to, you know, bring it down to earth. All the stuff that we felt or is really like Star Warsy and you know, that you know held this idea of Star Wars high. This sort of taking it to that kids level where they're grounding it out, making all the stuff that we held high on, like, you know, a pedestal, is bringing it down to a kids level and giving it that new energy, you know, to the same stuff that we, you know, always seeing, you know, know and love and stuff. This is one of the best. I think this was one of the best episodes of the season so far.
You know what I'm having a hard time with this show? Each episode, they're really not, to me, they're not really broken. They're not really episodes. Like, I'm feeling like you said, like we're all saying, this is like a movie, but we're seeing like little pieces at a time. This part of this particular story gave me all the nuts and bolts. Like, we're seeing some really great stuff. And also, like, it's really not a kid's story anymore. I mean, it's getting real, like, dirty. And just like any like Star Wars story or any sort of mystery, is it kind of a murder mystery now? Like, did something happen to this Captain Renrod that maybe needs to be pulled in a little bit? Like, maybe there's something there because he disappeared. And who is he? We saw that's the only thing I didn't like about the episode. I wanted to see this guy, and the hologram was distorted for some reason. We heard the audio, but we couldn't see a good picture. Like, who is he? Who was this character? Were we going to know him? We're going to know who this was. But I liked we got the parents back into the picture briefly, yes. But very, you know, a very important piece of the puzzle was sort of laid out there. And then the whole thing with the pirate treasure and the you know, finding the data port, and I mean, all that whole mystery had a lot of good stuff to it. I like where the story's going, and yeah, I mean, I could see this going season 2, season 3. Just keep going with it. I mean, the characters are great. Someone's gonna perish. Someone's gonna. There has to be a moment of despair to bring our characters down a little bit, bring the story down, and then lift us back up. So that I'm curious, like, who's gonna buy it? Is it Jod? Is he gonna like come to some demise? Is it one of the kids? You know, but someone of importance is going to perish, or, you know, to kind of move the story in that direction, so we have somewhere to go back up. Because you got to have a story that kind of ebbs, and there has to be a down. Like, there hasn't been except for the moment where the captains are fighting. You know, I didn't know if that was going to be it. That's what I was thinking. That's why I brought that up, because I thought, oh, Fern, really? They're gonna, you know, she's not gonna yield, and he's gonna cut her throat, and that's gonna be like a big plot twist. But
wow,
she caved.
Cut her throat.
I mean, hey, I
almost had Ken there.
I rewatched Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the scene where Vader is on Tatooine for the first time, he's snapping kids' necks and strangling their parents in front of them. I mean, so Disney is not afraid to murder children on screen at all. So
clearly,
for that moment, I mean, if she if she didn't yield, then she was getting her neck cut, and that could have been a big, downward turn in the story. But they didn't go that way. But I think something's going to happen. But I love where it's going. I love all the mystery and the planets. It's just got a lot of good stuff in it. I'm impressed so far.
Man, this is one of the first episodes of a Star Wars piece of content that felt like an episode of Rick and Morty to me. They go to this Skull Ridge, and they subvert expectations with the spot. That's something straight out of that's a Rick and Morty classic adventure right there. I loved all the different characters they have at the spa. You have Jabba the Hutt's cousin or whatever. You have this enormous mantis shrimp. It's just nice. He's like, what do I need to kill people for? You see me? No, love that. Yeah, right. I love that whole piece. I was thinking to myself right before it happened, man, like, why isn't there acid in that room again? And then
there you go.
These guys are doing good work. It's competent work. The characters all make sense. The kids are scared, and they should be. They're like 10. You know what I mean? I mean, these actors are like now 13, 14, and they were 10 or 11 when they would have filmed this stuff. So it's it's really impressive how they've all managed to make the characters so deep too. They all have depth. They all have their own unique personality that isn't really annoying. It's not a bunch of it's not personality by lack of ability or helplessness. They're capable. They can do things. I enjoyed the whole "hey, let's split up this way, that way" conversation they had. It was really funny. And you gave me Urkel shooting a bullet right through somebody, and then not saying that. And again, it's criminal. He should be saying, "Did I do that?" Because that's a old when you shoot somebody.
Yeah, that they could have easily did that and made it really corny, and brought us back down to the kids level.
But I love the flashbacks to Indiana Jones here. I mean, this was right out of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The penitent man, the whole the word puzzle. Don't touch the treasure. Again, all right out of the Last Crusade. I really enjoyed that a lot, and I actually like that they obscured the face of the captain, because there could be a lot of people that are the captain. The captain could be, Jod could be the captain, although that so eventually he'll have to drop the charade. The captain could be somebody we've met already, or it could be somebody we will meet later down the line. So I'm very interested to know who that is. I thought all the treasure room stuff was really well done. The booby traps were all real cool. A lot of skeletons abound. There's skeletons everywhere. It was a skeleton festival.
And I like that Neil figured it out. Neil solved the puzzle.
I like Neil as a character. I think they've really hit it out of the park with that particular character, to the point where I liked his mom showing up at Weddle's work. I thought that was interesting to know all about that. What's going on with them? I have lots of questions. But it was interesting. I thought, hey, weren't these guys learning about like currency exchange rates? And they have a mint.
Mm-hmm.
It's dicey to me. Who I think the captain could be? Sheev Palpatine.
I mean, there has to be a big tie-in though about something, right? Because like Old Republic credits, and they were hell-bent on hiding these credits, but then, like I said, the bigger thing is going to be like this mysterious supervisor person they're regulating the money, so I'm sure they answer to somebody above the supervisor. So that's what makes the show even that much more kind of like important, I think, in this whole Star Wars kind of realm, because we've been saying this for the whole time. Like, where does the Empire get the money from? Is there like a syndicate of this managing? Like, where is this money? So now we know that somebody knows there's a hidden planet out there who's been mining or essentially flooding different planets and galaxies with credits that essentially don't even mean anything. They can print all the money, but as we know in current real society, you can print all you want, but if you don't have anything to back it up, it's just paper at this point. So it's almost like, it's very parallel to real life, and it was cool and refreshing. But I just, like you said, the tie-ins of the show, like the Goonies, the Indiana Jones, and it's all of that like late 80s, early 90s kind of like this feels like, and to me, you guys are right, because to me, this is what Stranger Things started out as, and now it's kind of like this modern, like big masterpiece.
Great point.
This feels like it fits in like late 80s, early 90s, like the way it's shot, the way it's run.
And the continuity's off with Stranger Things.
It's
not even there anymore.
Well, they're spending too much time in the graphics, production, and all that, and making it look too modern, to where like a little bit of the roughness of the show, it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. And you know what I mean? It makes me feel like it, like the set design can be a little bit off for this or that. It just, to me, fits in a time frame that I feel very nostalgic. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I said, to me,
the wolf suit is straight out of that era. It's like those Teenage Mutant animatronics or whatever.
It's not too like overdone. It's not too over like, you know what I mean? You're right. It's just a simplistic Wolfman costume that has like general clothing on. It's nothing like out of this world. You do like, oh my god, like, I mean, like it went like a new Wookiee, like Black Chrysanthemum. That was an intricate costume. The Wolfman is more like a tropey 80s wolf, like a big bad wolf look. So no, I like that.
I like the one from the Cantina in A New Hope. That the Wolfman character. It's like the same thing. I think a lot of the aliens are costumes. At least they look like it to me. I mean, it doesn't look like they CG'd a whole lot in this, maybe to save money, because they put all the money in the starships and the space travel element. Because I mean, this series it's pretty balanced between rock-based scenes and space scenes. I think they put a good amount of money into the space scenes, which I like. I think that was a good choice.
Yeah,
I think
you guys are really.
The ships look gorgeous. They all do. They look great. The fact that you have the ship is now named the Obsidian Cinder, which just sounds badass.
Onyx Cinder,
Onyx Cinder, yeah.
It's been a long day for me. So the Onyx Cinder, and I just love that. I love that Jod is like kind of geeking out about the pirate like lore. You know what I mean? He's acting like Nicolas Cage in National Treasure. He was like, oh, what do you mean? You never heard of this guy? You never heard of Rodden? I got to tell you all about it. Like, I almost feel like Jimmy Stewart should be doing that speech. Well, you got to listen to me. Listen to me. He's a famous pirate. He traveled the world. He traveled down. But I love that. I love that in that world building, right? And we know that the Star Wars universe has a vast, unseemly underbelly. Wretched hives of scum and villainy abound in the Star Wars universe, and I love that we're seeing that, and we're even seeing what happens when that whole system tries to go legit, because we're seeing like the Michael Corleone end, when we see the spa and we see this mint operating on AT-AT and pumping out credits everybody has for Lord knows what. And this has got to be something like finding like a relic. Like you'd imagine if you found a trove of Roman coins, it would be very exciting. But if you found them in Ohio, you'd have questions, right? You'd have some questions about how that
questions. So that's something I was even wondering about. So let's say this is true. Let's say there's an Old Republic mint buried in AT-AT, and but are the credits getting out, or are they just warehousing them? And are they authentic? And is there anything, because really there's no government around to back up this money. So it's maybe from a collector point of view, maybe they're worth something, but are they worth something in a trade environment? Because you still have the banking clan, which they mentioned in this episode, that are controlling the money. Do they have a hand in this? Do they have any skin in that game? Or is this just it's just left over from the empire, and it's really got no value at all? It's just like a collector thing. It's not really worth anything. It has no intrinsic value.
these guys are acting like there's been significant deflation in the currency.
Deflation.
Deflation.
Yeah,
like
right.
a dollar from 1960 would be worth $100 now or something like that, which doesn't make sense, specifically because of all of the wars in Star Wars. And we all know, because we studied economics, the wars are an inflationary event that should cause currency to devalue, not to value. So it's almost like, have you guys ever heard that there's a case in Utah where this guy was forging documents from the 19th century from figures from the Mormon Church, right? He was going in and saying, "Oh, Brigham Young signed this piece of paper," and selling it for a whole bunch of money. It's almost like that, like they're collector's items. It's like, what if you had?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What if you had the Topps baseball card factory from 1950, and you could just print out Mickey Mantle rookie cards, and it would be exactly right,
Mm-hmm.
just as many as you wanted forever, right? Well, if you actually did that, what would happen factually is that the value of a Mickey Mantle rookie card would drop because the supply of
Because
Mickey
everyone
Mantle.
got one. Yeah.
So
Right.
this is an interesting scenario. You'd imagine that, this is like you imagine the inflation has to be ridiculous for these guys, or just the amount of money they're throwing around when it's actually in the galactic market has to be obscene. Like the cost of living must be ridiculously high for the people to react to this currency the way they have, right? It's almost as if they took the dollar or the Republic credit and they started dividing it into multiple parts rather than multiplying against it. So rather than being worth like 3 or 4 times the dollars, like we would if we did an inflation calculator in our economy, right? If you look at 1973, something, then like $10 is probably worth like $40 now. For these guys, it's the opposite. So there has to be some sort of like something else to it, and like another good analog in our world would be coin collecting, right? A really valuable misprinted coin from a mint in the 19th century can be worth a lot of money, even if it's only a dime or it's only a quarter, because there's something unique about the actual thing. The object itself has more value than its currency token, right? So there's a lot of ways that this could be possible, but that there's something weird going on with this mint. You don't know.
Are we thinking
And
it's
then-
more of a collector, like it's an oddity thing, or do these things have value? That's what I'm wondering. Because the economy that these represented, the government that is gone, wiped out, completely finished. No one has been dealing with this currency in at least 10 to 20 years. Is it what it's made out of? Is it made out of gold? Is it made out of Bhaskar? What is it actually minted from? Is that the value? Maybe that's what it is. It's the material that the credit, because the credit itself, nobody's using it. Nobody in any of these worlds that we've been introduced to are using this as any sort of trade. So there has to be
It has to be a fiat currency with the credit, and I think the name is how you know that it's a credit. It's a token amount, so it's not based on a like ounce of silver or something like that. Like if you look at United States dollars minted in like the 1890s, they'll be worth X amount of silver. Like they're back. They say
silver certificates, gold certificates, have that value.
right, because they literally represent your share of the piece of gold, of a real actual piece of gold, right? So that's a specie currency, which is what that's called. A fiat currency is when you just say $1's a dollar, and if you say, I don't think that's the case, in our economy we say, well, the United States military says it is, and everyone goes, it's a pretty good military. So that's kind of how fiat currency works.
So everyone has to agree that a credit is worth a credit and it's worth this amount. But it seems that the value of that is different depending on who you speak to or who is dealing with it. And yeah, you're right. The credits are, it's like, it's just a thing. It's 30 credits. It's 300 credits, but we don't know what that is. Does everybody agree what 30 credits is? Now, these are old Republic credits, which to me is more of a collector thing, more of something that has historical value more than monetary value,
Well,
because no one's trading with that anymore.
don't forget the viability of Republic credits is literally one of the main plot points in the Phantom Menace. Believe it or not, we all come back to Phantom Menace when they couldn't use those Republic. They had all those like an infinite amount of Republic credits, and while
they're not good out here. So
get the fuck out of my shop.
So did something happen after the Republic fell and after the Empire fell, and then the Republic's trying to come back? Did something happen that now these credits are worth something?
Would you, if you were a Sheev Palpatine, would you go through the trouble of replacing all the Republic credits and declaring them outlaw and calling them back in and force replacing them with Imperial credits, or would you just accept them?
Palpatine doesn't give a crap what people were buying their comic books and their breakfasts with. He doesn't care. Who cares?
Imperial, it's delicious.
Like the money part of it. That's what I'm. If this is the whole hinge point of this show, is this is money, then how does it come to bear that becomes this important in this new Star Wars world? That's what I'm curious about. Like, just because you have it doesn't mean it's worth anything.
Why is it so important for the pirates? Well, basically for anybody to have any of it and everything. What makes it so important, just except for would you call it a MacGuffin, or just something to say, okay, this is shiny looking gold and everything, and it looks like it's valuable, so it must be valuable because we're telling you that it's valuable and everything.
Well,
that's interesting. Yeah,
it means lunch money for a week, right? Which, I mean, not to date myself, but when I was in school, that was $4 for 5 hot lunches at Marshall County School. So that's how much, like $4, right? Even in the 90s, that was like, it's like it's like $10 now, right, or $8 now. So it's really not a lot of money, but these guys are able to use these dollars to bribe people to do stuff that's very illegal, bribe them and make them attract so much attention. And it's literally like, here's the pocket change I have on me, so you can buy a ham sandwich and some Doritos. You know what I mean? Like so they're making very clear through the plot that the exchange rate is that these are very, very, very high value denominations. That are coming out here, and it would make sense if there was if you were just printing money on a planet and you had a closed economy, like if the governments of the world just said, hey, we're just going to start printing infinite money, what would happen on the planet is there would be massive amounts of inflation, and eventually prices for everything would go up and up and up, and wages would go up and up and up. It's kind of like exactly what's happening on our planet because that's literally where we are. We're in an economy bubble, one planet, right? A one planet bubble. So it would make sense that if you were if that hyperinflation was taking place where the mint was, but not in the rest of the galaxy, right? Because they're not the proximity to the mint.
It's hidden.
Yeah. And because the supply of money is constantly increasing, it would make sense that you would give someone lunch money after a long time of that effect. And it would be like handing, a kid to go to a concession stand at a soccer game right now, $100 bill. Where they're like, we can't do anything with this.
And no one in their right mind would do that. Never give a kid $100 bill ever.
Not for a dollar hot dog, and you know what I mean. It's just wildly, for the currency to be that out of whack, it would have to be something like hyperinflation, which would mean the mint is running all the time. So there's lots and lots and lots of money cycling through the system over there, which is probably why it's so suburban and nice, and why the government is so, observation. The keeping an eye on
robotic.
Yeah, so it's like an oligarchy, which is where the few rich people run everything, and that is but we should probably pay attention to how that works. How that operates, so they know, just in case it becomes relevant to them in the future. But that's all evidence that indicates that that's the case. And I'll say this: they accomplished all of this. They built all this. They give us lore for Wim's parents. They give us interesting stuff for everybody to do. you had all that take place, and no walks in the woods, no necessary wasted time, no need to retread.
No flashbacks. There hasn't been one flashback.
We've talked about this a ton of times, so
lots of action.
Yeah, I mean, all the typical devices that you use to like tell a story and everything. It's a difference in putting it in the hands of people who know how to tell a story versus people who don't, with the same toys and everything. Like, if we refer back to Acolyte, we like how referring to that. Okay, it was a semi-crap show, with some good elements and everything, but they just didn't know how to structure their story, really great. Whereas this, we sort of expected it to be, we did have high expectations of it being, having kids starring and all that stuff, but it ended up being a very well-crafted show, put together by people who know how to tell stories. Good concept with the Acolyte, great idea and everything, poorly executed. Here, low expectations, high execution.
Like this show would show you why, would explain to you why all those witches died. It would make it explicit to you what happened. It would happen early on, and that's how it would be, right?
No walks in the woods. I mean, I said that.
Yeah,
that's like
it would explain everything. If the same people, these people did Acolyte, we would have had a whole different feeling on it. We wouldn't have all these questions. Everything is basically being explained. They show us something and they tell us why we needed to see it that way.
Exposition. I mean, one of the things I hate, that most irritate me about TV shows is exposition. In order to get the plot, keep going and everything. It's what you get in like 22 episode series. You get a lot of exposition just to keep things rolling and everything. This show here, that's why it feels like a movie so much. It's showing more than telling, and for the stuff that we need to know about, it shows us first. And then, like you said, Kent, and then it explains, instead of just dumping us with a whole bunch of exposition and, we get bored and, like
and then
we
moving on to a new theme, like showing you a whole bunch of stuff. And then, now something else. This has, it has structure and everything's tied together. And at the end, it's a complete little, it made sense. It was like reading a chapter of a really good book. You can't put it down. Or an onion with really nice skin. You keep peeling off these layers, and underneath is like another nice layer of onion that you just want to dig into. A really tart onion,
You like onions, huh?
Love them.
Are you confusing onions and lemons or limes, please? Or are you
like onions?
No. A good story is like an onion. You just want to keep peeling it away.
Like I said, I've been saying this for the longest time. Like, this just goes to say, like, bro, who the fuck hires these people though? That's the bigger question, right? Because we see something like this with low expectation. To be honest, and this is something that's crazy, like, who the fuck even who's the executive producer of this show? Do we know?
Yeah, Filoni and
Kennedy.
No, I'm talking about like
the Christopher Ford and Chris Bongiorno and Kathleen Kennedy. That's the main
guys, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have fucking whatever her name was. You know what I mean? Acolyte chick, I forget her name. It's that bad. Leslie Headland, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this goes to show, like, just get the right people in the stories. Like, I just think they, like, we talked about it, they got too cute with when they did the Mandalorian shit, and they were like, hey, Rick McCollum, you do an episode, Bryce Dallas Howard, you do an episode. They just started giving shit out and like trying to get too cute and try to expand things too big. And then it started to get stretched, right? And we started to say like, oh, Bryce Dallas episode was cool, but this guy's episode was all right. And then Rick Fujima's episode was like, eh. And if you just kept it in house with one guy and did a linear story, I think they just thought, because think about it, all those people had spin-off series and most of them got canceled because they were like, oh yeah, that shit wasn't necessarily the greatest idea. So I just like how, like, it doesn't necessarily always have to be a household name. Obviously the Lindelofs storyline has been great, but it's just getting the right people that we talk about that really have an idea. Really, like I said, I don't even know how they pitched this for this to work. Like, the storyboard meetings, like when you talk about the story, like, and you see it on the way it's played out, I don't know how they like, bro. This is the shit. Like I said, it should be on ABC every week. This should be shown like on live TV, not like 4 months when they want to try to get an Academy Award for these kids or something. Like, I think this is something that right now can be on ABC in a time frame that there's nothing on in the evenings anyway. So this is a great children.
Well, it's premiered in a good time of year with with it being a season and everything. People are off. People are watching like a lot of content. It's cold outside. People watching a lot of content. So they debuted at the right time of year, I believe.
Yeah,
it
sure.
would be phenomenal to see a Star Wars story on prime time on a network. Like that would be really great. Like I would think that ABC, which is owned by Disney or ABC,
they have the time slots to do it.
Oh, they're
lying if
they put on there.
You,
they can
yeah,
totally put this on there.
They're lying if they're telling us that they don't. They definitely have the time slots to do it. I mean, and there's so many ways they can cross market this. Like, I mean, if you look at the numbers, like, so we are like the NBA is like at an all-time low. Like they're shitting the bed right now. Like NBA is hemorrhaging money. They sign these big media rights deals, and they're not getting any viewership. Like, and the fact that they're showing these games on ABC in certain days, like, I just think that, like I said, we're not in the boardroom, but I just think the resources can be used better, more effectively, on things like this. That I just, and I'm kind of interested to see the viewership numbers, kind of what they're going to do if they're going to play the game and like say, oh, like people really didn't really watch it, because the reviews I haven't seen not one negative word on the internet about this.
Yeah, I haven't been seeing like that negative vibe and everything.
So that's what I'm saying. It's unique.
I think Disney has the subscribers to get like the right viewership. I think the thing that's just really holding them back is the fact that people are still, they're really the direction like Star Wars and stuff. So you're not getting as many people trying it out as okay, we got burned with the Acolyte. So why should I come back to, Skeleton Crew, even though you say it's like, good and everything? Why should I start wasting my, putting my time towards that? Now, if you put this on Netflix, I think it would be like, it would blow up,
So DP, I'll give you one better then, right? And this is controversial, this is a Star Wars podcast from all Star Wars fans, right? What if they just repackage a show as just the Skeleton Crew? No Disney Star Wars. Like that's the way forward for real. For this show, maybe. Not like cut out, Star Wars, if they just repackage this as a Skeleton Crew. We all know what it is. We know it's Star Wars, but in order for get mainstream to buy in on this, because the mainstream are going to see Star Wars and say, "Oh, fuck it, that's some shit I remember when I was, when I was third year and I was 25." You know how that is, how that demographic will be.
Yeah.
If they just repackage it as
the Skeleton Crew and put it on Netflix.
Yeah, just take out even though it's a Star Wars show, just take out Star Wars on it.
Yeah.
Just take it off.
And start and just say no, don't mess with anything else. Just I can see that working.
I would just repackage the title, just the title. That's all, and just run it that way.
Yeah. People
especially
start discovering
on something. On something like ABC, I think it would.
The only thing with the network stuff is just dying out. People are streaming, and they're not even concentrating on network stuff, because except with sports. Right. So we still have like it in mind. We knew the days where the network stuff, you put the stuff on the network, you get like the biggest audience, but that's not how people are to consume their content nowadays. So I say Netflix because Netflix is the biggest player out there.
Correct, yeah.
And then you probably have like Amazon and Disney, or Disney and Amazon, one of the two. Yeah. One of those two is pulling up the rear. Probably Disney for the most part, because they got so much kid stuff on there. But I think the Disney brand sort of holds itself back, because you think of Disney, you just think of so much sanitized stuff.
Yeah,
and
cartoons and princesses, right?
Yeah,
but they, I think it would be a good thing. I think these are nice experiments for them because it's getting them out of that stereotype. Because when you used to think of Disney, you think of little animals that talk and princesses and castles and happy endings and happily ever afters. Now there's pirates and treasure and booby traps and people dying and lightsabers.
Well, they did just have Wolverine come out this year, so
yeah, right. Which hey, those are
they're doing rated R stuff now.
So this is a good field for Disney to play in right now, and I think they should keep pushing the envelope, but give us good stories. Like,
look, it makes sense. Disney, let's talk turkey, Disney. It's about to be another whole year.
Or you have something to say, Steel City?
Whole year, and you're about to lose more of
I'm listening.
that you have to Mickey Mouse. It's about to go away. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, it's all going to go away in the next 10 years. And you just need something different. So why not rebrand yourself entirely? Get away from the kids' stuff and just make stuff for me, a 41-year-old man from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I would like to pitch for the next 15 minutes. I'd like to make a presentation to Disney about why I, Steel City Hitch, should be the audience they cater to from now on. Purely for selfish reasons.
Purely for selfish reasons.
Is it selfish though, to be honest?
I mean, I am the center of the universe, so we're really just centering the universe properly by centering Disney on me, like the rest of the universe. That's the way I feel.
But when we think about media, though, in our age demographic, that literally was the height of media. If
you're targeting people born from, like, say 1980 to 1985, right? If you put Urkel into that media, that's what you're doing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like this.
Have Urkel show up and shoot someone full of holes every couple episodes, and I'm bought in with someone born in those early 80s years, right?
I mean, let's be honest, right? They're about to release Tron. What fucking kid gives two fucks about Tron Ares? I too, because I love Tron Legacy is my favorite movie, but like my kids don't give two fucks about going to see Tron. I'm geeked over it. Like my kids don't care about Tron. They don't.
Who here has ever seen a Tron arcade cabinet in the wild?
I had a lot of quarters stacked up on the top of that bad boy. Remember that? Still saying it was your turn next when you put your quarters up there.
My gaming generation after that. So, like, for me, those quarter video games was like I had to get lucky enough to get my parents to give me a quarter because they weren't sending me off with money, and it would happen never. But I got real good at watching the loading screens, so that was something I got to do at arcade. But I was an NES kid. When I was 6, I got an NES. It's right here. I can touch it, like 1 foot this way. So I'm a gamer that way. But quarters, not really. That's before my time, frankly.
I didn't get to go to the arcade.
Universe on me. Don't go too far back.
My parents didn't let me do the arcade. I remember our first
in Donkey Kong.
My first trip to the arcade was like when Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 came out, and like it was like the devil's game. Like I remember seeing the fatality, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, you are not getting this." Like I remember, the first time I got one, like Mortal Kombat was
a skeleton,
right? But I remember that the arcade.
I'm highly curious on the numbers that Disney's gonna do with that Neo toy right there. I'm highly curious. It's not going to do Grogu numbers. I know that, but I know it's going to catch on. I just know it is.
I like that they
that first Jedi class, by the
way. They fixed the Black Series packaging. They went from they had that fold the flap that you could still look at.
You can open it up.
Black box. Now they're back to a window box, so you can actually see what you're buying.
That's what you want to see.
They listened to somebody. Now I don't know if I'm going to unbox this sumbitch or not.
Yeah. Are you going to get another one?
Just one.
No. This no. I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
But but I mean, he's like, I couldn't resist. I was like,
Yeah.
Piloting
I'm
an X-
I'm definitely getting a second Moff Gideon helmet for sure. That's coming soon. That was ordered that was ordered in July. It was because they didn't even release that publicly. Like I had to dig to find it because we were talking about it as the show was on. I was like, bro, they need to do a Moff Gideon Black Series helmet, and I googled it and I found it. They literally sold out immediately. So
they had
I've been waiting for 7 months.
Darth Malak too
Yeah,
from
I was waiting
GameStop.
like 7
You could
months.
pre-order. You could pre-order it.
Yeah,
It was weird. It's a weird looking one. It almost looks like Ultraman, and then has almost a Mandalorian visor
yeah.
to it.
Public DP. It's a video game for Xbox. Sorry, you don't know anything. They're nerding out, and you're just getting left behind.
I can't even. Yeah, that's crazy. They do that's Old Republic, which it's crazy because this show ties directly into that series, which even geeks me out even more. And you guys haven't talked about like the biggest MacGuffin of the whole show, right? Fucking Jod gets an Old Republic lightsaber hilt. Like, how crazy is that? Like, that is like the biggest relic. When I saw that, because I was trying to slow it down, I'm on the internet, like, whose fucking hilt is that? That's what I want to know. Obviously, it's a Jedi, but who?
Mm-hmm.
I bet it's Souls.
And I would have turned the lightsaber on into the ground too. I'd have turned it on the wrong way. Put a hole through the ceiling, through the floor.
I don't think he would have. I mean, all you have to do is look at the emitter, right? At least he didn't point it at it. At least he didn't point it.
Yeah, at least he didn't point it at it
sideways. Yeah, and I put, but as we know, based on the Ahsoka show, you can be impaled and be okay. I mean, she got impaled and got right up. Literally.
Yeah, she did.
You know what I mean? Sabine got impaled like real good.
I thought one was going to have like a shop class incident and end up like, they'll tell you now.
Right.
In your hand. And he puts his hand in it. It's like, yeah. No ring finger. He's messing with lightsabers.
But I think the fact that they showed that Old Republic lightsaber at the end, and like Jod's like, the way he looked at it, I think there's going to be some symbolism in that as to what it is.
If Jod really had like demonstrated force sensitivity and has a lightsaber now, those pirates are in big trouble. That's the worst possible thing that can happen when you're pursuing someone is they have force sensitivity and they get literally the perfect weapon to give someone with force sensitivity, right? Usually a bad thing.
Yeah, it goes to show like what happened to his lightsaber, because as we know, all Jedi's like, did he like hide it? His story is even more intriguing to me, and I know we probably won't get into it in this show, but like who are you? That you obviously were. I mean, he had to be a Jedi. You just can't be this ultra force sensitive.
I think he's a pirate. He's a pirate captain that's been dethroned. His crew mutinied on him.
He has many names. We got another name for him this episode.
And I think he had something to do with Renaud's demise. Like whatever happened to that guy.
Renaud, the captain.
Yeah, is Silva's responsibility. Like whatever happened there. And he's playing dumb right now. Like, oh, I don't know. This is a whole mystery. That he knows what's going on. And I think we're going to see more of that. I mean, he's going to give himself away. Like the kids are pretty smart, and they're going to like, hey, wait, didn't you say that? They're going to catch him in one of his little games. Almost did. It was episode 3. They almost caught him in this like. He was sort of giving himself away, but he's definitely interesting. But I don't think he's necessarily a Jedi, but he knows how to play tricks on people, which is what pirates do. Pirates trick you out of their treasure.
Luke Skywalker was able to do at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, which is that telekinesis piece. So he's got something going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Something. But I mean, like we said, everyone has force sensitivity. Anyone can dribble a basketball. Can you do a half court shot?
Go behind the back?
Can you go behind your back? Can you do? Yeah, can you do it with both hands? I mean, that there's different levels. But I think everyone can dribble a basketball.
What would you do if Jude Law came into your like room right now and just started doing like basketball ball handling exercises right now? Crazy, like the one where you do like touch it from behind and in front. That one he just was really good at it.
Like Harlem Globetrotters ball handling, like
he played basketball
like
a couple.
I don't know.
He's at least on the JV team if he can do that stuff. He's doing the drills. He's picking stuff up. I mean, he's doing the telekinesis, right? It's not like he's not doing it, so we know he's doing it.
But he must. If he truly had like Jedi powers, wouldn't he know things? Wouldn't he know what was going on? Know where the treasure was? Know where the pirates were? It just seems he's almost as clueless as the kids in a lot of this.
A dime on them as soon as he got the coordinates tag. Up until that point, I feel like he was playing a game, and then once he got those coordinates, he took control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's more to him than meets the eye, and I definitely think they're going to tell us a little bit. Maybe some of
I don't think they're going to tell us.
Yeah.
Hopefully he didn't kill Wim's mom.
Is she a Jedi? It's weird that he has this affection for the Force, though. I'll say that. This affinity for the Force with Wim. There's a lot more to that story. I just think there's a lot more. Him, and then all this, like, the stories, and then the part there with him and God on the ship about his mom and him being upset about the Force and, like, understanding it, and John.
Yeah, but then you say that they're how did he say it, though? These were wastes of time, which is a Jedi thing. Like, family and attachment is a waste of time. You can't have it. So
that's why when he said that, I was like,
it's not this little
but
kid
that
crying.
lightsaber hilt, that looks like that's like a Temple Guard's hilt. I just was looking at it on a screenshot. It looks like the one you can buy at Galaxy's Edge and make it. Just saying it's an Easter egg, but it looks like a Temple Guard's hilt.
On TV, you can't buy it. They would never do that.
Yeah, that's like you can make that at Galaxy's Edge. That's the ones you can make. That's like the protection defense one. But
yeah, that was there for you, T-Mesh. That was there for you, buddy.
You can order it right now.
I didn't go to protection defense. I went with power. I have two pins. I have a power one, and then I have the earth one. Ken might have protection defense. Did you build that one?
We all better hope.
My kid did. I built the Wookiee.
Okay. So you did the earth one as well, yeah.
Yeah, earth.
Just like the one we saw in Acolyte, right?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Man.
That he never used.
Anyway, this is doing pretty good with it.
They're definitely doing pretty good, roping us in. Merchandise. But no, guys, it's been another great week. We're 5 for 5, and it's still climbing. Episode 6 is up, and then what we have? We have 3 left, but right, 3, yeah, 6, 7, 8.
Is it 3 or 2? Is it 8 or
3.
7?
There's 8.
3 left. Oh wow, I thought it was 7. I'm good. 3 more.
6, 7, yeah, 3 more. So there's a lot they can wrap up, and basically doing 40 minutes on average an episode. I think we're going to get a lot of answers, and a good ending to hopefully will be season 1 of many, or a few at least. So
yeah,
can't wait to discuss this with you guys again next week. Hopefully we'll be welcoming another Jedi here in the next couple of days. So
longer than that. We won't still be in suspense next week. When we meet again, we'll have one extra.
We will have the Jedi here.
Right. So
I'm in big trouble.
Great stuff. But yeah, I can't wait to discuss this episode next week, guys. And thanks for tuning in. And as we say every week, this is the way.
This is the way.